Welcome back. Very good to be with you again. Some time ago, I did a video where I created a FireWire installer with every possible operating system that a PowerPC Mac can run. Some of the very early PowerPC Macs can run Mac OS 7.5 or 6, but I didn't have that. Everything else. The problem I found, and it works very well. The problem I found, though, is that there are too many operating systems on that one drive. So if I plug it in with an operating system on the desktop, they all mount. I can pick the one I want and install that operating system very quickly. But with a machine that doesn't have an OS, if you plug it in, hold down the Option key, I think there are just too many installers on that one drive. And it basically gives up and doesn't show any of them. So what I've done is to obtain 60 gigabyte SSDs. Very small by today's standards, of course. But I'm going to put 4 partitions and have 4 installers on the one. The ones I'm going to put on are Mac OS 9, 10.3 Panther, 10.4 Tiger, 10.5 Leopard. The ones that I most frequently do install. The earlier ones I have the CDs if I need them. I'm going to put one of those drives into this enclosure. This enclosure I don't absolutely have to screw together, and it only takes 4 screws anyway, even if I do. I don't actually use this as much because this requires external power, but it's very easy to put it in. I am then going to clone the installers, at least 3 of them, from that original drive that I did. And then hopefully we'll see if this will all boot up. Now, I'm going to do this on my Power Mac G5. That has FireWire 800. Hooray! There's only one port, and it's currently occupied by the backup drive. However, FireWire can be daisy chained. So basically, I'm going to plug this, the original installer drive, in first to the backup drive. I'll connect it to external power too. You can. It's bus powered, but when you're daisy chaining, having the external power helps. Then I'll connect this with the blank drive into this. And theoretically, it should work. However, theory and practice can be 2 different things. So let's find out. Please join me. So stay tuned. Alright, in the back there we have the OWC Mercury Elite AL Pro, AL for aluminum. These came out really to match the Power Mac Mac Pro cases. There was an earlier version of the Mercury Elite that was plastic and mimicked the Power Mac G4s. Alright. On the bottom there, we see the enclosure that has the original installer drives that is plugged directly into the backup drive. And then the second daisy chain, the new drive. Now, when we boot up the computer, we should see all of those installers on the original drive there. The drive that's in the black enclosure is of course going to need to be formatted, which I will do prior to creating the installers. So hang with me, I'll boot up the machine and you can get an idea of what the process is going to be. Stay tuned. Well, it was a really good plan. A really good plan. Except for the not working part. Yeah, in theory, I should have been able to daisy chain all of that, but theory and practice are very often not exactly the same thing. All right, so I temporarily disconnected the Time Machine backup drive, connected the original drive directly to the FireWire 800 port, and it worked fine. This new drive is now connected via FireWire 400, since there's only one port, because I couldn't even daisy chain those two external drives. But that's okay. We're going to come here to partition, and we're going to select a scheme with 4 partitions. We'll name the first one Install OS 9. We'll name the second one Install Panther. And you see where this is going, of course. All right. And then finally, install Leopard. Okay. So yeah, we're installing macOS drivers, macOS Extended Journal. This is all right. The sizes of basically 14 gigabyte are plenty for all of these, way more than OS 9 needs. I think Leopard needs something close to 7 gig, but that's okay. All right, so let's apply this and partition. All right, this is going by pretty quickly. And we have our new 4 partitions. And we can close out a disk utility now. All right, now to create some of these, I'm going to use Carbon Copy Cloner. All right, and we'll select as the source. Oops. Emac install CD, that's 9.2.2, and as the destination, install OS 9. This should all work, and we'll hit clone. All right, now this, I'm not expecting this to take awfully long. I hope to be able to do it 800 to 800, but there you go. No, it's going really quickly, isn't it? Yeah, with OS 9 it would, because there's not a lot to OS 9. In terms of space anyway. It's a great operating system. I love it. And there we go. One done. All right. Our next, I'm going to temporarily skip over Panther, and we're going to go direct to Tiger. All right. We'll clone that. This is going to take longer. And in fact, I'm going to stop this clip and I'll come back to you when this is done. And we're done. It says time elapsed 3 minutes and 30 seconds. I thought it was a little longer than that, but still not bad at all. So yeah, doing this with FireWire goes very quickly. And of course, they're just the installers, so all that was copied over was a little under 3 gig. All right, now we're going to repeat this process with the Leopard installer. Now, since these are all bootable, the beautiful thing about Carbon Copy Cloner, it makes a very good backup tool. However, it also gives you a complete bootable copy of whatever you've copied. Yeah, so since the installers are, of course, bootable, they need to be, these versions are bootable as well. All right, this one is even going to take a little bit longer. You get the idea of how this works. So we'll be right back. And we're done. Now that one took, close to 8.5 minutes. Over 7 gigabytes in that installer. Kind of amazing how things changed over the years, isn't it? From the installer for OS 9. It wasn't really that long. OS 9 was, I believe, released in 2000. Leopard came out in 2007, was it? So over the course of those years, you go from an operating system installer that is numbered in megabytes to one that's over 7 gigabytes. Okay, so those are done. Now, in order to do the last one, Panther, it's going to take a little bit different tack. The Panther discs that I have are CDs, and it goes over 3 different CDs. However, I was able to find a disk image of an Apple internal DVD, which is all in one. It's down here. So what I'm going to do is disconnect the 2 external drives, then connect the new drive, again this time on FireWire 800, which of course is much faster, and we'll go through the process of creating the install partition for Panther. So hang with me. Okay, we're back. Obviously much more manageable having these 4 partitions than the insane number that I had before. It seemed like a good idea when I was doing it. All right, now instead of using Carbon Copy Cloner, what I've done, of course, is to unzip the archive that had the CDR. I then mounted the installer here. I'm going to use disk utility. I was using Carbon Copy Cloner because the installers were already made and it just goes a lot faster than the restore on disk utility. Here in this case, I think it's going to work better to do it in disk utility and use the restore function. Now for the source, it's not doing it, is it? Oh, this is awkward. If I open it. Now it won't do it. Okay then. Plan B will be Carbon Copy Cloner again. Let's see if Carbon Copy Cloner will do this. Select a source. Showing up. Yep. Select a destination. Install Panther. And we'll clone. Yeah, I'm a little surprised actually that disk utility didn't do it. But if this works, and it's a big if, we'll figure it out. Now this should go pretty quick, but no need to make you sit through it. Hang in there. Oh, a little over 3 minutes, actually just about 3 minutes 40 seconds. What surprises me, of course, I don't really know what was on that internal DVD. It may have some things that only people at Apple would have received, but nonetheless, I find it a little surprising that Tiger was quite a bit smaller in size, half a gig anyway, than this Panther was. All right, so that's done. Now we need to test this. I'm going to give a quick check here. We can eject that. Let's look in Startup Disk and see what kind of options it gives us. Well, yeah, it shows Panther, it shows Tiger, and it shows Leopard. It would not show OS 9 because this machine cannot boot into OS 9 directly. So, all right. Well, that tells us something. We need to do another test, and the next test would be trying to do this on another machine. I first noticed the problem when I was setting up the iMac G4. I put the new SSD in and went to install Leopard. I put that original drive in there and got nothing. So I'm going to want to see if this new drive is in fact going to appear successfully when we start that up into the boot manager. All right, so hang with me. I think we're just about home, looking good so far. Well, here we are. I've got the new installer drive plugged in via FIreWire 400, which is the only option, of course, on the iMac G4. Start it up, holding down the Option key. Okay, there's Boot Manager. It'll take a couple of moments for the fire. There they go. Absolutely. All right. So yeah, the options: the Leopard SSD, the Tiger SSD, of course, are the built-in IDE SSD. But Panther, Tiger, and Leopard all showing up as bootable options. Ah, that's great. Now, of course, OS 9 will not show up since this machine is not capable of actually booting into OS 9. But still, okay, this so far has been very, very successful. Now, of course, I'm not going to actually install anything on this machine because, heck, I've already done that. Yeah, the last thing I want to do is set up these operating systems again. I've just got Leopard working very well the way I want it to work. However, we do have other machines upcoming where I am going to be installing operating systems, so it should get a test within probably the next week or so, depending on when some things come in. All right, well, anyhow, I think we will find that this is an outstanding option, far faster than CD or DVD could possibly be, and unbelievably faster than USB 1.1. So this is going to be a very, very good way to get things installed. When I did install Tiger off the original FireWire drive, I think it installed in like 8 minutes, booted up in seconds. It was like 30 seconds to actually get the thing booted up into the installer. So this thus far is very, very successful. I hope you've enjoyed this, and if you want any possible tips on doing this kind of thing for yourself, please let me know in the comments. I'll be more than happy to help out. But I think we can call the end to yet another successful video. So, as always, be good to other people, be good to yourselves, and take very, very good and careful care in these most difficult times. We'll be back with you very soon.